Hi, welcome to Widowed Too Soon. This is Michelle Bader. I'm sitting here with my friend and co-host Mark Massaro. Mark.
What's up,
How's
Michelle?
how's
Yay, you're back.
I know. How's it going? How'd you feel on your own last week, all by yourself?
I'll just say that I've learned that I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to, it's much easier to bounce my thoughts off of you.
Oh yeah, I remember what Joel thought was really. He's like, I just finished Mark's episode. He told me like yesterday or the day before. He's like, I thought it was funny how he didn't know if he was recording or not.
I thought that was pretty funny too, honestly. I was like, this is gonna be like really weird if this isn't working. And I'm just sitting here talking to myself for a half an hour.
Yeah, well, you did good. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you.
Good
Appreciate
stuff.
that.
But it was like solos instead of duets. So, usually you sing it and then I sing it with you, but you did good on your own. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if I could pull off singing by myself. I mean, really, if you think about that, like how weird that is, that I was sitting in my room by myself,
all by myself,
with my headphones on, looking at myself on my computer screen and singing and talking to myself. Like, that's kind of weird.
I did that for a long time on my own podcast. So I know it feels weird. Let's see. It was called Widow Goals. I did like 5 or 10 episodes there. It was all by myself. So
well, it's
I get
still
it.
out there, right?
It is still out there. In fact, someone contacted me recently and told me how much he liked it. And I said, hey, go listen to this one. I think you did. Because I'm like, you'll like this one even better.
You think that's good.
Wait, there's more. Oh my gosh,
That's
I can't
awesome.
even listen to those. They're so boring by myself. And then I was crying all the time because it was like a few months after Luke died. So it was just like crier pants and it's not fun.
Well, hey, you know what though? Like you found your therapy, you found something to help you. Like it was
no,
gosh, it was an important season for you. And actually, I remember when we first met, I listened to
you did. That's
Widow
right.
Goals.
I did. That's right.
And I was like, what's a podcast?
Little did you know, like you would be eventually doing them.
That was your plan all along.
Here we are. But you know what? The worst episode is so I did a podcast before that called the Peace Cast. I did 32 episodes. But I had so I've been podcasting, a day or two. So I had guests on most of them, but the last ones, it would be just more like updates on Luke and like people, my friends would listen to it. The very last one, I get back on there and I talk about his death and I'm crying like the whole time. So I can't even listen to that one, but it's kind of good that it's preserved in history. Like if I ever want to listen to it again to see how far I've come, or maybe even sometime like put it on here to show people, I don't know, it's there. So
it's well, what's neat about this podcast and your previous podcasts is like we're recording our journey.
I know it is cool.
It's kind of neat for me to know that like one day when my kids are ready to learn about what happened, I don't have to worry about how well I'm going to remember it because it was 10 years ago or whatever. Like I recorded it fresh. And of course, there's details that I either left out, but re-listening to that episode will remind me of so many things that I had forgotten about or whatever. But
So what have you been up to since your lone podcast?
Well, let's see. I have been all by myself. No, not really, actually.
Oh, you know what I was laughing about too?
What?
You said something about Mystery Girl, and it just didn't sound the same without me going, Mystery Girl.
I know, it just doesn't. It
didn't work as well.
Yeah. I did get a chance to spend time with her, which was amazing.
Oh, Mystery Girl.
Yeah, she's such a sweetheart. She's really, really awesome. So we got to spend a few days together. She came and visited.
Nice.
And it was just really nice. We hung out and went out to dinner. And it was really sweet because her and Alexis, like she helped Alexis get ready. So she helped Alexis put on makeup and curl her hair, and Alexis got a pretty dress on. And it's really sweet. It's really gosh, it's really special to, have been doing everything by myself for so long. I mean, I've had people jump in here and there and things like that, but I just mean like, for the most part, like I've done everything by myself. And so to like just see Alexis getting that attention, or see Luke getting that special attention, like in that way from that role of a person, if that makes sense. It's really special, and I love it. So anyways, I did that. We hung out for a few days.
Nice.
That was awesome. So I don't know even if you know this, but I have this hobby for a couple years, more than that, actually, quite a few years. I've been collecting colognes.
Okay. Like did not know this. New fact.
Okay, yeah. So I've liked,
That's cool.
The fragrance hobby I've had for a long time, and I just like to watch YouTubers. And
why have you kept that a secret from everybody?
It's not a secret. I didn't think anybody would care. We care. It's like, hey, I collect perfumes. They're cologne, but what I mean. Actually, cologne is not the correct term. The correct term is like perfumes or fragrances. Cologne it's kind of like when you say champagne.
Yeah.
It's from France. Okay. Anything else is like oh my gosh, not sparkling. What is it? Sparkling wine.
Oh, okay.
It technically, if it's not from Champagne, France, it's not considered champagne.
Oh, okay.
It's considered sparkling wine, something like that, or like bourbon. To what bourbon is to Kentucky. Is that right? Anyways.
Don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. Right. So cologne is it's like a what do they call it, like eau de cologne or something like that, and so it's like the water of Cologne. And Cologne is a place. I believe it's Cologne, France.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a shout out. So but it kind of like Kleenex or Coke or Q-tip.
Yes.
Cologne just kind of got this universal phrasing for man, but it's actually a certain kind.
Oh, interesting.
Is cologne. But anyways, so it's like fragrance is the technical. So I've been into fragrances. Anyways, super fun fact. My girlfriend says I'm super bougie, which is funny because I have all this like Versace and Gucci and
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm building this like shelf thing in my closet that's like, my like, cologne area or my fragrance area.
Nice.
And so that's been fun for me to have like a project.
Yeah.
To like display my bottles, and I kind of like to nerd out on them and just kind of pick one and just like research it a little bit or whatever. So anyways, that's something else I've been up to. And that's just fun for me. I think anything you can find that you can get into, like, that wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea. It's like a big deal, right? To a lot of people, but to me, I'm also like a treasure hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And so like going to like TJ Maxx or Ross and Marshalls like looking at like their clearance, you can find really good deals there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is normally like $80 and they have it on blowout for like $14 or whatever. And I know the ones I want to look for and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so it's just kind of a fun hobby, and I've been just kind of building this area in my closet, and
nice.
I love having projects.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a project for my hobby. It's like a win-win,
Yes, exactly.
So
I've done a little research on perfumes and stuff as a reseller. So in the last few months, I've kind of gotten into that a little bit. I don't know what probably,
really?
But my mom had all these older perfumes that were given to her, and they all sold pretty well. So I researched, and I was like, there's a lot of websites about all this, like all this stuff, and YouTube videos, and all this stuff. So I've done a little bit, because it's really, I like selling it on eBay because it goes for good money. So
yes, and for that sort of thing, something niche like that, like eBay would be the best. Marketplace, it's kind of interesting because though there's so many people selling fakes out there.
Yeah, that's
and so it's hard to trust somebody. So even if you're selling a real one, like most people are going to think you're selling a fake.
Yeah, actually, that happened to me. Let me tell you a little story. You and all of our listeners. So I had this old cologne of Luke's, and it was not the main one he wore. So like I kept the main one. I have it in my closet. I smell it sometimes, but it was another one. And I sold it like a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago. And then somebody gave me a negative review and said I filled it up with water. And I was like, that was my husband's. I guarantee it was never tampered with, maybe because it's older. It didn't smell as much. And then she was like, okay, sorry. I'm like, can you take away the negative review? She didn't. And I said I would refund her, but she never sent it back. But anyways, yes, because she probably assumed it was a fake, but it wasn't. I mean, it was old.
That's messed up.
So
yeah. And it, if it's just like anything, if it's not kept in the right, environment, so to speak, like it can deteriorate, and it'll just smell like alcohol after a while.
Yeah, I thought it still smelled good, but whatever. Anyways, that's my experience.
So she's probably tripping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a couple actually on Amazon that I bought that were fakes, and which is really annoying because Amazon has a like you can't return perfumes from Amazon because they consider it like hazardous shipping materials.
Yes.
And so I just contact Amazon and I'm like, they're like, oh, we're sorry, this is, you can't return this. And I'm like, well, that's unacceptable because this person is selling fraudulent items. You can't tell me that I just can't return it. And they're like, well, you can go ahead and keep it or dispose of it or give it away and we'll just refund you the money. And I'm like, perfect.
Oh,
So I had to do that with 2 separate ones.
Well, how did you know they're fakes?
Oh, because you smell it. There's either the smell goes away and like it'll smell not quite right, and then the smell's gone in like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And so you can get something called like nose blind where you don't smell it.
Oh, yeah.
Because you like get used to the smell or whatever. Yeah. So I'd even go ask like my daughter, like, hey, do you smell anything? Right. And she's like, I don't smell anything. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. I don't either,
Yeah.
So that's how and they didn't but then it's funny too, because if you check the reviews, like they'll have like 4.8 stars. And I don't know how they do this, but then when you click on like the actual 1 stars, it's like all of them are like, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. And so I'm like, well, I don't know how many people just thought it was great for the bottle or whatever, But anyways, so I hope everybody wanted to know about all that information that we just shared with you. Wasn't that fascinating?
It was fascinating. Anything else going on?
No, that's it. So do you want me to pray for us? No.
Well, I wanted to share about my fun trip and stuff like that.
How was your trip?
It was amazing. I got to go meet Joel's family. So that was absolutely amazing, beyond what I expected. Not expecting.
Does he come from a big family?
Yes, he has 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and then there's like siblings, nieces, and nephews. Fun little fact. So there were 11 nieces and nephews there. By the end, I named them all. I go, can you name my 6? Nope, he could not name. I'm like, you've met them, like you've been to my house like 5 times and you've seen these nieces and nephews. There's just 6 of them. He could not do it, but I'm like, I can name all 11 of yours. And like, it was funny. It's not just him. They were like, the siblings were together trying to name each other's birthdays. Cause I'm like, well, if you know Joel's birthday, just remember mine is 1 month later. And they're like, I'm like February 6th and I'm March 6th. But it was funny. Like they didn't know things either, just like him. But anyways, so they don't remember things and all of that. So
hey, in Joel's defense, it's hard to remember names for me too. So for some people, it's hard to remember names.
This wasn't names. This is like, oh yeah, that was names. Never mind. I was talking about birthday later. Yes, he didn't remember names, but he's correct.
Well, birthdays is even harder.
Yes. And anyways, so getting to spend time, like first we were with his parents, and then like all of his siblings is kind of like where I live. They all live within a few miles of each other, just like here. So it was really great. And like he has little nieces. We got to babysit one night. The baby, we were babysitting all the kids, but they were asleep and the baby was waking up, and I got to like hold him and like get him to go back to sleep. And I was like, oh, I love this so much.
Did you smell the baby's head?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I should.
It's like a thing, like because babies have like this smell.
It's a regret I have right now.
Babies smell amazing.
They do smell good.
They're so like new and fresh, and
so fresh and so clean, right?
Yeah,
right.
They wish they were as dope as me, but
a part of the song too. I think it is. Okay, a little fun. We have so many side facts today. When the kids were little, so the song was popular. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? So I would sing it like this. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like mama? Don't you? I was singing all the time. I think they thought
I'm
that was
sure
the
kids
words.
love that.
They did. Well, they were little, like they didn't know the difference, but that's what they thought the song was. Like,
oh my gosh, that's funny.
Anyways,
that's great.
Fun little side fact. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what was I saying?
Did I talk about Alexis's third grade teacher? I think I did, right?
But something, but there was a song.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that her name was Miss Jackson. Yeah. Okay.
That's awesome.
Just checking.
Okay, so the trip was amazing, and amazing. Like, we got to see each other for 8 days straight, which is the longest time period we've ever been together, and it was all awesome. Like, loved it. I feel closer to him by getting to know his family, and we all got along, and like, it's like, this is, hopefully gonna be my family too. And it was amazing. So that was good.
That's super cool. Did he pull his James Bond moves on you?
Like, he has a
plane. Like, hey, should we fly somewhere?
Yeah, but it was actually, he was working. So we went back to Louisiana, and he had a job to the beach, to Gulf Shores, Mississippi, and I got to go with him. So yeah, it was super fun.
What was he flying people to somewhere?
Yes. And so I just got to come, and he got paid.
You were like co-pilot?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Or you know what I mean? Like, you
did
shotgun? I don't know if you
we let the guy choose, and he said he'd rather be in the back. So
what a dummy.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, so that was really fun. It was an amazing time. Like,
do you ever tickle him while he's flying?
No, but I'll go ahead and give that a try next time.
Yeah, make him drop a couple hundred feet in altitude.
See what happens. Well, there's this great thing called autopilot. Oh my gosh, there were some scary times. So he's normally on autopilot. Okay, on the way there to the beach, clouds make it bumpy, really bumpy. Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, it was scary. I was scared. And then on the way back, we couldn't find the runway. It was so foggy.
Oh, wow.
It was dark and foggy. And so we're about to land in Ruston, where he lives. And I'm like, then we start pulling. I'm like, what happened? He goes, I couldn't find the runway. We get one more try. I'm like, and then what?
That's it.
And then they direct us to a different one, which was like an hour away, and we wouldn't know how to get home. So he's like, can you help me find the runway? I mean, I was freaked out. So I'm like looking, and then I'm like, you have until you get to 500 or 600 feet, and then you have to leave. So he's like, we're almost down. You can hear it. 500 or 600 feet. And
not 1,000?
No, you're down. Like, and you're hearing it, like, it goes off. It's like 600 feet, 500
oh my
feet.
Gosh.
And I'm like looking everywhere, and he said he was about to pull it up, and I'm like, there it is. And we landed, and we made it. But it was so scary. Like, I was super scared, like, for real. I'm like, how do you do it? He's like, that's what we call landing by instruments. Like, you have to just do it by seeing, like, I'm like, does this happen? He's like, yeah. I'm like, how do you stay so calm? I'm like, you have the perfect personality for this. Like, I'd be freaking out. He's like, that's when people get in accidents, when they don't remain calm.
Yeah.
But he did.
There's also something different about being behind the wheel, so to speak, rather than being a passenger.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this, that I like going 200 miles an hour in a car. Do I want to do it? Yes, but only if I'm driving. Like, I don't want to go 200 miles an hour in a car as a passenger. But unless it was like, Michael Schumacher or some professional race car driver.
Oh, okay.
That would be different. But anyway, so I could see as the pilot how it, you could keep your calm a little better.
Yeah, he's like, I've been doing this for years.
He knows so much more than you. He has so much more knowledge in his head. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, and then what? But he's like, there's protocols, you're thinking like, what, then we land on the freeway, or
so it was super scary, but I mean, I trust him. He knows what he's doing. But yeah, so it was the whole point. The trip was amazing. Of course, saying goodbye was hard again.
It's so hard.
We sound so good to say goodbye. To yesterday. Yeah. Anyways, okay, we've just rambled. Oh wait, I have some more things to talk about.
Okay.
So I started 2 new jobs the day I got back. So,
Dang.
One of them I had already started like a little bit before. I talked about both of them, I think. Read Northwest, where I'm helping kids who need to read. Like, I'm not even speaking correctly. We go into schools and help kids first through third grade who need more help in reading. And I'm the volunteer coordinator. So working on that. We're going in a homeless shelter. We just found that out. Super excited about that. But the day I got back, I had to go into the school. I don't know if I mentioned this on the last one, that I got asked to be a long-term sub for third grade at my kid's school. So I am working with the teacher who's going to be out. So I went like full board ahead to do that. And then like I'm balancing both jobs at once, and it's a lot, but it's exciting. I like both the jobs. So that's that. But let's get into our topic today, which is,
wait for it.
I have all these notes with all these titles. Just FYI, it takes us a while to get to a title, but then, when you get a title, it's a good one. So this one is an episode for your friends. So
is it a good one though?
It is. I hope so.
We finally got to one, but we were like, yeah, that'll work.
We finally, that's a good one, because like, aren't there things you want your friends to know? This is kind of like, what Mark did last time about, was it things you should know or people should know?
Kind of a spin-off. Things I wish people knew.
Yeah. So this is an episode you can give to your friends, if they're bored of our first 15 minutes, they can fast forward to this point. They're like, who are these people? Get to the point. But just something about like,
I didn't even think about that.
Right. So, if you share it with your friends, maybe just tell them which, 15 minutes in or whatever this is, that's might be when you want to listen.
Just say, sorry, they're dorks, but
they like to talk about random stuff, like what they collect and things like that. and flying and stuff like that. Anyways, so we just thought it would be good to share things that we would want our friends to know. So a big one, and I just experienced this last week. It would have been my 19-year anniversary with Luke on August 22nd. And I wish that people would remember, like, write things in their calendar. Like the anniversary, no one remembered except for Joel. Of course, I talked to him, like no one in my family, nobody, but that's okay. I think they don't know what to say. They don't know what, do they still wish you a happy anniversary? But I would prefer they say something like, I know this is your anniversary. How are you doing today? Or something like that. So that would be something. What was a bigger deal for me was, this was my third anniversary without him. Yeah, third. On the third, no, it's only been 2 years since he died. Not many people remembered. And I wish that that's the one, if I could choose one date, I would want people to remember, it would be that one. And so even my best friend didn't reach out to me, and I was open with her and told her when we talked that, because she said, maybe I should write that. I said, nobody remembered. She's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, maybe I should put that on my calendar. I'm like, I think that would be a good idea because it is important to me. So I would say, like, ask your friend, what are the dates that are the most important to them for you to remember, whether it's their late spouse's birthday, the anniversary of them going to heaven, if it's their actual wedding anniversary, like what ones are important to you. So that would be mine. What would be for you the most important date you would want people to remember?
I think, gosh, it's hard to say, because obviously there's just like the handful. The day she passed,
right?
Her birthday, or our anniversary,
right?
And I had, the 2-year anniversary passed, and I made a post on Facebook. But I think, but then again, I don't know. It's hard because you don't want to, like, sometimes you don't want people to treat you like, like it's just this big, like it's supposed to be this big devastating thing. So I would say, like, how to translate is, like, just ask, like, how are you doing today? Recognize the
exactly day. Yes, that's
but good. don't expect that, because I wasn't, I didn't have too bad of a day, to be honest. It was a little weird, as always, but and actually, as we're recording this, tomorrow is Lacey's birthday. Her birthday is August 29th. She would have been 37 years old, and
wow.
It's, gosh, I just think about how differently my life would be right now. If, like the things I'd be doing right now or whatever. So anyways, that's probably, though, to answer your question, I don't know particularly what date, but I think just acknowledging it would be what I would want.
Yes.
Acknowledging it, and hey, I know today is, Lacey's birthday. How are you doing?
Exactly.
Something simple, like that would be neat. But there's so many things. There's so many things that I would have loved for people to know in the beginning. For one, I'd love for people to know that, like, that you're going through a lot more than they even know.
Yeah.
Because, there's so many things that you don't think about. Like for me, for example, it was like a lot of people recognized that I was going through a lot because I lost my wife, but they did not as much recognize that I'm going through a lot because my kids just lost their mom.
Exactly. It's like two things. Yeah.
Yeah, it is two different things. And then the third part of that, and I did mention this in the last episode, that I don't have her to talk about this difficult situation with anymore. Like it's something that people don't really think about, that like you don't have that person anymore.
Right.
That exactly. was your number one. And that's a huge part of it, that you're like, so I just wish people would, I would like if my friends would recognize all of that stuff, that also, because there's a lot that comes with that, like you're getting a lot of messages at first.
Yes.
And so I would say, like, don't take it personally if they don't respond to you.
Oh yeah.
Like, keep reaching out. Like my friend Chris, he kept reaching out to me. I would not respond to him, but it wasn't because I read every single one of his messages. A lot of them made me cry. A lot of them made me feel loved and cared about. But I didn't respond most of the times. Why? Because I was getting 20 messages a day that I didn't want to respond to. And it wasn't because I didn't care. It was just like I had so much on my mind. Like there's no room for politeness sometimes, or being cordial and just replying. Like sometimes you don't have the energy for that. So anyways, yeah, what are your thoughts on some more, anything else you can think of that you wish somebody would have known?
People can talk about Luke, say his name, like say your the late spouse's name, and talk about them, and they don't have to like avoid it. Like that's like the elephant in the room. We can't say his name. Like it's okay. Like we want to talk about him or her, we want to be open. Like we still want to talk, they're still a big part of who we are in our whole life and what we're going through. So that would be one of them, is just to be okay with, like, don't be afraid. I guess I feel like people don't say something because they're afraid. They don't want to make you upset. I've talked about this many times. I wrote a whole like thing about this before Luke even died, called To Speak or Not to Speak. And it's just all about, like, I prefer someone would say something than not. Like, I feel like it's people being selfish because they don't want to be uncomfortable. And so they don't say anything. So I try to be bold when I know people are going through something or they've lost someone, to just be like, how are you doing? Like, not to ignore the fact that this is going on in their lives. And so don't be afraid.
Yeah. And I would say also another important thing is don't ask your friend or your family member, whomever it is that just lost their spouse, don't ask them, what can I do for you?
Oh, let me know if I can do anything.
Don't say like, let me know if I can do something. Just show up or tell them what you're going to do. Say, hey, can I bring you dinner tomorrow night?
Yes.
Hey, can I come and help you clean your house? Hey, can I come and, take your car and go get it washed for you?
Yeah.
Don't say, hey, if you think of anything I can do for you, I'm here for you. Let me know. That's really sweet. And I know your heart's in the right place to even say that, and you mean it. But it is one of those things where you're like, I don't know. I don't know what I need. I mean, I need so many things. I wouldn't even know what to pass off to you. But if you see something, so for example, hey, can I come and mow your lawn tomorrow? And even silly things. hey, do you need someone to come take out the trash around the house? Do you need someone to clean? Do you need me to go to the store for you?
Right.
You know, like whatever it might be. Would you like me to come cook dinner for you? Do you want me to, would you like to have somebody to come over and have a cup of coffee with, or have a glass of wine with, and just sit in the backyard and chat at night? Would you like that? Would you want somebody to watch a movie with? Try to think of things that you can offer.
Specific.
Yeah. And because that is so much easier to accept than me having to ask you for what I need. Because it's hard, because I know I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to ask you for anything. And that's, you know, my personality type. So I have a problem too, but that's just my personality type. I'm not going to ask you for anything because I don't want to burden you. Yeah. But if you say, hey, can I come and make you dinner tomorrow night? I don't know, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I just might say yes to that, you know. Hey, can I come and watch the kids? Would you like to have an hour by yourself and go take a shower or something, like in peace? You know, like, or for, you know, I don't know, there's men who bathe too, but it's, you know, a woman might want to, your widow friends, she might want to go take a bath and light a candle and read a book for an hour or whatever it might be. Or if you're a man and you know a woman that's widowed, offer her all the things that her husband used to do for her. Hey, do you need anything fixed around the house?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can I bring over a set of tools and just look around your house for anything to fix for you?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of my 2 cents there. Do you have anything to add to that list?
Yeah. Remember your friends on holidays. Because those can be the hardest days. And sometimes it's the days you get forgotten because everyone else is with their family and they're not thinking about it. But just reach out to them, like thinking of you today, praying for you today, whatever you want. Just say something. Like, it just feels nice to be thought of. Like, maybe for the first year, you remember them on like every holiday. It doesn't take that much effort to reach out and text them or call them. And like, especially things like, maybe their first Mother's Day, you give them a gift, or Father's Day. You're the one, because it's usually the spouse who does it. So maybe you do, you know, thankfully, donations helped me and my nonprofit Widow Goals be able to give gifts on Mother's Day to 6 widows. And I know it meant a lot to them because they don't normally, you know, it's like their spouse that would do that. And so, you know, I had many in tears, thankful that we were able to do that for them. So you be that person for the one that you love, like, and you organize something with your friends to everybody the first year, everybody take a holiday that you're gonna like go bring them a gift or something, even if they're not there. Like a lot of the widows, I went to their houses, they weren't there, or they didn't feel like answering the door or whatever, and that's fine. Just the fact that you remember them is huge, especially like, I remember maybe it was like 3 to 6 months afterwards when you feel like everyone's forgotten. Like, especially those times, they need you to be there. They need you to remember that. I remember that, like the day the cards stopped, like I actually remember that, like it was cards every day, these great cards. And there was money and gift cards and checks, and like, you feel so loved. And then it like stopped. Like, and so maybe you're that person. You know, somebody who interviewed me for her podcast, cannot remember her name right now. She had a business where it was like grief boxes. And her whole point was like, you would order it for your friend and it would come for like a whole year. Every month they get something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a great idea. And you can do the same thing for your friends. Or like I said, be the organizer in your group of friends. Like for the first year, like, or second year, whatever you choose, like be that person, be that for that person, because you can feel so alone. Like, for me, Luke's celebration of life was kind of like, after that, I felt lost. It was 3 months. 3 months after he passed away, and everything had died down after that. It was like, I was so lost and felt so alone because everybody's life goes on and they continued on with all their stuff. And it was like, and it was also the first time I was alone in my room, because before that, Haley slept by me. And then like I had friends over, and then after everyone left and then Haley went back to her own room, I was alone. And it was like the hardest time in my life, probably. And I did have a lot of friends who would reach out and bring me flowers and do things. And another thing is like, continue inviting them to things, continue to invite your friends, even if they're saying no, eventually, like they appreciate that they're being invited. And eventually they will probably say yes.
Right. Yes. I relate to that big time. I did that a lot.
Yeah.
I kept saying no, no, no. Because for me, and I think it was the same way for you, I think we talked about this. It felt very weird to be around other couples.
Yeah.
Where it was like my friend, his wife, my other friend, his wife, my other friend, his wife, my other friend, his wife, and then me.
Yeah.
And they're like snuggling on the couch, watching the movie. And there's so many things that you recognize. And I would never want them to not show each other affection, but it just makes you feel kind of weird. You know, you're like, oh, wow, like I don't have that anymore. I'm sitting by myself on the couch. I'm over here in the corner, you know. And I would say another couple things are, if you catch this soon enough, after somebody, you know, if you know somebody that just lost their spouse, like refrain from posting normal stuff on Facebook. Because I remember feeling like, I mean, it was like the next day after Lacey died, I'd see people posting NFL scores and they can't believe that this football player is being traded to this team and that team. And I'm like, did you guys forget that Lacey died yesterday? Like, you know, but it's nothing they were doing wrong, but it's a reminder to you that to everybody else, life goes on. And now this is my new life.
So you're saying to the like close friends to not post like, normal stuff?
To just like be mindful for a little while. Yeah. Mindful of what you're posting for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
You know, don't post things that are like, you know, of course, if they're, I mean, post whatever you want, of course, but I'm just saying, if you want to like be sensitive to what they're going through, you know, maybe don't post something that feels so, you know, where you're like, hey, I got a great deal on some stuff at Target today or whatever, where it's like, it feels like, I remember reading those posts and I'm like, wow, like, I feel like Facebook should have stopped today.
Right.
That's how it felt to me. I felt like everybody knew. I felt like there should have been like this huge moment of silence on Facebook.
Right.
If that makes sense. And of course, you know, I can't expect everybody else's world to stop, but there was just this like, wow, like everybody knows. And they're telling me how they're grieving with me, but their posts don't reflect that they're grieving with me.
Yeah, exactly.
If that makes sense. And I'm not trying to be like insensitive or you know, or even say that I don't do those same things to people unknowingly.
Right.
But I'm just saying from an insider looking out, who's experienced it, like I remember it did hurt to me.
Right.
Where I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, why would you, you know, and I had people tagging me in like conspiracy type stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Like the next day.
Oh, that's horrible.
And obviously it was like a multi, you know, tag, you know, but I'm like, dude, I don't care about that right now. And so that's one thing I would just say, be mindful. Remember that at least give like a week of remembering that their whole world just got turned upside down.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that if they start dating again, if they start being interested in dating again, don't act like that means that they didn't love their spouse.
Exactly.
Like, they still want you to acknowledge anniversaries and things like that. It doesn't mean that because they've found somebody else, that they don't still love their late spouse. And you know, be happy for them, show support, and understand that you know they're able to love two people at the same time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that, you know, because that's what we're all afraid of, is that like if we start dating again, people think that means we're like, you know, for me, I think about it like, well, that means people are going to assume that I'm over Lacey. And we hate using that terminology.
Yeah.
You know, we say that, you know, moving forward rather than moving on, but like people just assume you're over it. If you're dating someone else, like there's no need to talk about Lacey anymore.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not how it is. Like, I still want to talk about Lacey. My girlfriend and I talk about Lacey a lot. Right. You know what I mean? Her memory lives on, and you know, in our relationship. And so does her late husband. And we spend a lot of our time talking about them and comparing stories and contrasting and, oh, that's so neat. Like, Lacey was that way too, or he was that way too, or, so, I'd say that's something, don't let it be something where you think that they've forgotten about them because they're moving forward.
Something that you said reminded me of this one. Be sensitive about the topics that you talk about in front of the one who lost someone, especially at first. Like now I could care less, but what I'm talking about, and I've shared it before on one of our episodes. I remember talking about it early on, like I'm talking less than a month, maybe. I had a girls' night with my friends that we used to do girls' nights like every week. I mean, every month. And one of the friends, and she knows we've talked about it, we're all good, but she was like, hey, let's share engagement stories. And I thought I was gonna, I was holding back tears. It was way too soon. Now I'd be like, sure, I'll share how we got engaged. But it was way too soon. But in her mind, she was thinking, well, we lost someone in our family and we like to talk about them. So she was kind of going on this other thing we said, talk about them, but it was too soon for me to talk about, and they were all talking about their husbands who were all alive. And so it was really hard for me. One of my friends, she was texting, I think she texted me from across the table, and she's like, let's change subjects. I really appreciated it. And later I talked to this friend and I wasn't upset. I just was trying to explain to her how that was hard for me. But then I heard her reasoning and made sense. She was trying to do the right thing. But I'm going to give you guys the advice that if it's been I would say less than a couple months, it's probably too soon to talk about things like that for me personally. So just be sensitive. And it was so hard for me to hear everybody talking about their husbands, especially, I know we've talked about this, if someone's complaining about their spouse.
Oh yeah.
I see this on widow things all the time. They're like, I can't stand my friends complain. Oh, they were like, my friend complained that her husband's going to be out of town for the whole weekend and she doesn't know how she's going to live without him. And I'm so frustrated. And just be very mindful of now you can talk about anything in front of me, but especially, it might be different for everybody. It probably is. But that first little while, I didn't want to hear about your husband. And I didn't want to hear about, it was so hard for me to just be like everyone else, not everyone, but everyone in my circle has their husbands and I don't. Yeah. And it was just a weird feeling.
Things that they're complaining about sometimes too.
Yes.
Where you're like, I'll trade you.
Right.
I'm sometimes, to trade,
Yeah. And I don't remember a specific example, but I just remember thinking around people sometimes, did they literally forget? Do they forget that I don't have a husband?
Yeah.
Now I don't care, but that was something for me.
Because we've learned to show grace.
Yes.
A lot of times, we've learned that you need to show grace that they don't know. And most times you're right. They are trying to do the right thing. Yes, they are trying to not be awkward and bring them up and blah, blah, blah. But it is a little touchy at first,
Yes. And then also this is a big one, what we had in our episode, about the stupid, dumb things people say, but we named it something else.
Ridiculous things.
Ridiculous, whatever. The dumb things people say. Don't compare oh, I know how you feel. Never say how they feel. Even if you're a widow, you don't say that to another widow because you don't. It's not exactly the same.
Yeah.
I know how you feel. My dog died. I know how you feel. I'm divorced. I know how you feel. Don't do it. More I have no idea how you feel. I have no idea how you feel, but I'm here to listen. So don't ever tell them oh yeah, I know how you feel, because you don't.
Well, yeah, as we mentioned in that episode, didn't somebody say to your son that their fish died?
Fish, that's it. It was fish. Yes, I know how you feel.
My fish died. My fish just died.
No, it was a 6th grader, but still, it's not okay.
Okay, yeah, that there's some grace.
There's some grace for kids, but
yes, yes, I know how you feel. Or one of the ones I remember we read in that episode was, oh gosh, I wish my husband died.
That's horrible.
Or something, where they're like, oh, I wish it was my husband or whatever. He's such a this or he's such a that. It's wow, are you serious? Yeah, anyway. It's just, I don't know. These are all things that we're trying to, just let people hear like what it's like for somebody in those beginning stages. We don't feel this way anymore.
No.
You know, like I don't feel at all like offended if people don't call me
right.
you know, on every little thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, there are things where I want people to know. It's important to me for people to know that like I will never forget Lacey.
Exactly.
Just because I want to find happiness again in my life, and I'd like to find a companion, a loving wife again. I'd like to find a mother for my children again. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't equal that I don't love Lacey anymore.
Exactly.
Like those two things are completely separate.
Yep.
I will always love Lacey. I will always miss Lacey. She was amazing. And she was my best friend. How could I, even as my wife, even if I find another wife, which, you know, I plan to, like she was still my best friend for a really long time.
Right.
You don't just forget about that person. No. You don't stop missing them. You don't stop loving them, but you do come to a point where you have to accept that you're like, well, I can't keep holding on to this.
Yeah.
Because I will never find happiness again. Right. If I don't allow myself to get through this, you know, to find the other side. And so anyways, that's been a hard one for me, is feeling like, you know, people are going to think that I don't think about Lacey anymore because I'm talking about my new girlfriend or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. Whereas like, you know, I still look at photos and videos of Lacey all the time. Yeah. You know, I still have pictures of her all around my house. I have our wedding photos up.
Yeah, me too.
All over the house, I have photos of Lacey. And I decided that. I remember I talked about that. Where the last time I talked about it in this podcast, I had moved here and I didn't know whether I was going to put pictures up again. I decided I wanted them up, and I realized that the reason I was thinking about not putting them up is because I thought people were going to think that I was trying to hang on to what was. And then I decided I don't care. I want to see the pictures of her. So I hung them up, and I put her wedding photo up, and I put, you know, just all these photos around the house, and I look at them every single day. And,
still
so
wake
you
up,
can love somebody and then still love them. You know?
Yes. I'm sure you're the same. I mean, I wake up and I think of Luke, you know what I mean? Like it's part, I will think of him every day. Like that's not going to change. Like, but yet, it's a whole, I can love again. And that doesn't, I was watching, there was some show, I think I was watching it with Haley, because I was like, oh, this is annoying. They're doing the stereotype. It was something, wish I could remember what show it was, but it was something about, oh, they, you know, they must not have loved their spouse because they're already dating someone. I was like, I hate that when they say that. Like, it is so not true. Like, it is so the opposite of true. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, like, I want to educate people on. That does not mean just because you love somebody else doesn't mean that you don't love your spouse. We've been over this a billion times, but maybe the friends who are listening have not heard that, but it's so true that the length of time you grieve does not mean how much you loved, you know, the length of time before you date again does not equal how much you loved your late spouse. Like,
or you can be dating and still be grieving.
Yeah. You can have, it's both. Like, and even Haley asked me, we were just talking about like the timeline with Joel and I, and how long, like, we had been dating when I, you know, after Daddy died, that we've been dating. And then she's like, you know, would it be okay if it was just like a few weeks after he died? And I was like, yeah, there's no right or wrong. Like for me, I wasn't ready that fast, but I would not judge someone else if they wanted to date somebody, because that's everybody's own journey.
Yeah. And people do, people are going to judge you no matter what. And it's, it's kind of, it's hard to take because you're like, you're not in this situation. Right. You're not in these shoes. And so you don't know what you would do in this situation, you know? There was something I talked about in that podcast by myself that I wanted to ask you your thoughts on it. And I'm drawing a blank. I had it a minute ago. Dang.
It was about, should you silence your phone? Yes. That was the one you're gonna
Yes.
ask me about?
Yeah, that was the one. No, yeah, I don't remember,
Okay,
but
we can come back to it if it comes to
yeah,
your
if I
mind.
remember, I'll just interrupt you and
Yeah.
make what I have to say the most important thing.
Yeah. The usual.
The usual, yeah, totally. But yeah, it's just interesting, you know, that I don't know, the people will just tend to cast their judgments over your situation, whether it's how you're doing this or how you're doing that, or that you should be doing this or you should be doing that. And it's like you said, like somebody might be ready to date in a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me. That wasn't me. But like I won't sit there and say, because like with me, some people might have thought it was too soon for me to start dating again. But what they wouldn't be factoring in is that my life, my wife and my life was pulled away from me over 14 months.
Right, exactly.
And I'd say for the last 5 or 6 months, I was really losing my marriage.
Yeah.
Before she died.
Right.
Because it became,
I get it.
Where I was taking care of her, and that's all our relationship was.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I felt things in my heart still, and she felt things in her heart still, our relationship became caregiving. And people would have a hard time understanding that what it was like to be there with your wife and at the same time be incredibly alone.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand that unless you've walked it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you've experienced it, and so it's challenging, you know. But anyways, I really want to remember what I was going to ask you.
You're getting so old.
There was something I said that I know I needed some ginkgo biloba.
What is that?
It's an herb that's ginkgo biloba.
Uh-huh.
It's an herb that supposedly helps you with like your memory.
Oh.
I see a rainbow. Sorry, really random.
Squirrel. Rainbow.
There's a rainbow on my window. Whoa, look at a squirrel.
A squirrel and a rainbow.
Yeah, no, there was something I was going to ask you that it was the thing that was like frustrating me, and I was going to ask you your opinion about it. You remember I was talking about it and I said you can tell this kind of like works me up.
Yes, but I don't remember what it was. I did listen.
No, I know how it is. Sometimes I was just talking about this. Sometimes I'll go into a church service and so I'm like, man, that was a great message. And someone's like, what is it about?
And you're like, I don't remember.
Gosh, you just gotta hear it. You know? But yeah, I was just talking about that with my girlfriend recently, that it's kind of funny, you know, you can totally be listening and forget, but gosh, there was something I was talking about and I was just going to ask you what your thoughts were on it. And it was like, darn it. I'll have to, that's going to bother me.
Well, you can
go on.
Ask me next time.
Go on, girl.
Well, I don't know what else we have to say. What other things do we want people to know? Let me think for a second. Just the things that we said, and like don't give up on us, you know, even if we don't respond. Like I remember it was before Luke died, I put this like thing out on Facebook. I was very open about everything, and I was like, I need you. I'm usually the glue in my group. I'm always the glue. I'm always getting people together. Now I'm back to being the glue. I'm sticky again. But in the beginning, I was like, I have no glue in me, so I need you to do it. So just know that, like, if they're usually the person who gets people together, does all this, you need to step up and do that. Like you need to be the person for them. Be the
planner or whatever.
Yes. And they did that because I was usually in my girls group, always the one planning, always on, you know, and then they started during that time period doing it for me, which was really nice. So just be there for them. Like my friends were awesome. Like I think it was 2 or 3 days. So, you know, the first day my best friend drove over from Idaho. And then like 2 or 3 days later, of course, my family was there for me. And then we did a girls' night. They brought over, food and like they created a fundraiser on Facebook for me that night to raise money for burial costs. And they were just there and they were like willing to help with anything and everything. And it was awesome. I think they had done a phone call without me and had decided on all these different things and how they could help. And so be that person if you need to be. Like, if you're in a group of people that all know this person, you be the person, step up, be the leader, even if you never have, do it for a short time period to help that person who has experienced loss, because they don't have it in them to make decisions. Like, I couldn't even decide what to eat. I didn't even eat for a while. Like, they can't think of anything. Like, it is the most debilitating thing you can ever imagine. Like, you're not functioning. And then especially if you have kids, it's really difficult.
You don't care that you're not functioning. That's the hardest part. Like, you know that you're not eating, but you don't care. You're not sleeping, but you don't care.
Yeah.
And that's a hard place to be. And that's like when you need people to be checking on you the most. And
yeah, exactly.
And even with daily stuff, like, hey man, did you eat breakfast today? Did you eat lunch today?
Yes.
I would have really benefited from somebody knowing to like ask me that. But I honestly, I don't know. I mean, I remember the feeling of just not caring about anything. Like, it just like nothing mattered anymore. My life was done. That's how it felt. And that's how it feels in the beginning, is that like everything you cared about, all of your imagine everything you've ever planned for, everything you've hoped for and dreamed of, and all of the ambitions and just future thoughts and dreams and all that stuff is just gone.
Yeah.
All the inside jokes, all the whole relationship, understanding each other, knowing each other's likes and dislikes. She knew I didn't like beans. I had to like learn that again with somebody. And in the beginning, I didn't want to learn that again with somebody. I didn't want to learn somebody's likes or dislikes. I was like, I don't care. Like, nothing matters anymore. And that's how it felt for a long time. And so, but then again, I made the mistake. Your friends who are going through this, they might also make this mistake that I hid it. I hid it well from all of my friends. I didn't share with hardly anybody what I was really going through because, just to be honest, I had some people tell me that it was okay for me to pour out my heart to them and to tell them what was on my mind. And I did that and basically got told that like they're not my therapist. And I remember feeling so foolish.
That's hard.
And I didn't open up to people. I hid what I was feeling from like everybody. And that was, I fronted off like I was doing fine because honestly, I was feeling a little spiteful inside.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need anybody then, kind of a thing. But also I was embarrassed and I didn't want to burden anybody. And so if your friends are widowed, and that's why I said, like, just find out what they need, like offer things, because I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. We're doing good. We're doing well. Thanks for asking. We're fine. And then I would get off the phone and I'd be like, I can't believe this is my life. And I would just be crying in my closet and just doing things with my kids on my own. And it was, every now and then somebody would ask me like, hey, like, how are you really doing? And it was hard to hold it together because I was like, I don't share that with anybody. So like, just know that they might be hiding their feelings from you because they don't want to burden you. So make sure to let them know that like they're not a burden to you and that you want to be there for them and you care about what they're going through. And anyways.
Good stuff. I can't think of anything else. I mean, I know there's more, but I think that's gonna do for today.
We always have more.
Oh, but wait, there's more. We always have more to talk about. And thank you, listeners, for sticking around for 54 episodes. That's crazy.
Dang.
That's crazy. I have people every once in a while, I guess they don't pay attention. They're like, "Are you still doing the podcast thing?" Yes, I am still doing that podcast.
We are now in Belgium. Thank you, Belgium. That's awesome. That's our newest country. And I don't know if you've seen this before. We are in all 50 states.
I have not paid attention.
We have been listened to in all 50 states. That's pretty cool.
That is so pretty cool.
You know, it's just crazy to think about.
It is.
You know, I know a lot of them, and interestingly, what is it? Michigan. Michigan, I think it's Michigan, is our number one state, followed by California. Yeah, but I'm like,
and neither one of us are from Michigan, or I don't know anybody in Michigan.
No, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
because I don't understand, like, I don't know the connection there. I would have thought for sure California or Washington would have been our number one. But yeah, Michigan, I think if I remember right, it's Michigan is number one.
Wow.
So what up, Detroit?
Wait,
such a dork.
Detroit. I have a cousin who lives there. She listens to, maybe she listened to.
What up, cousin?
What up?
So yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. California is number 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what up, California?
And I can't. You have to be on the. You can't do it on the app, right? Yeah.
No. You have to. Well, on the you have to do it on the computer.
Yeah. Anyways, that's.
And we're using our computers.
You're not using your computer. What? Oh yeah.
We're using our computers.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up. What do you think? Should we wrap it up?
A hip hop, hip it to the hip hip hoppy. You don't stop rocking to the. Oh, not that kind of rap. Sorry.
Yeah.
Up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie the beats.
Let's see, that's good.
Now what you hear is not.
Yeah, that's how I know the words. So
different rap. Okay, let's wrap it up. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Anyways, okay, side note. So if anybody out there has some good love songs, Joel and I are trying to find our song. We don't have a song yet. Please send it because I want to listen to it and I want to find a song. So I mean, what do you say? Love
hurts. Isn't that what is that song? Yeah.
I don't know. I remember that a little bit. Song. But I mean, we listen to like on Spotify, we're like wedding songs, these songs, love songs, romance songs, and like we'd be like, nah, or you know. So I want to be like, they're playing our song. Like Luke and I had a song. Did you and Lacey have a song?
Well, we never like labeled it our song, but we just listened to that the Beach Boys, Wouldn't It Be Nice? We listened to that song so much when we were dating.
She was young.
We wanted to be married. Yeah.
Nice?
Yeah.
That's cute.
You're making me sound like a pedophile.
No, you were just young.
And I would roll up with my van and my mustache.
And you like have it blasting. Have the song blasting. Hey girl, hey.
Hey girl, hey. Never mind.
No, you would like skate up on your skateboard.
Yes, I would. Yeah. You know, actually I went skateboarding recently. It was awesome.
You did? How was that?
I still got it.
Nice. That's good to hear.
I was pumping all around the skate park and busted a big old kickflip first try.
Nice. Was it when Mystery Girl was there? Did she get to see?
No, she wants to. She wants to.
Maybe someday.
Well, she's like, I want to see you skateboard. I'm like, well, I got to get like warmed up first. I can't, first time Lacey saw me skateboard, I broke my ankle within like 5 minutes of being at the skate park. She had to drive home, or actually, I think my friend drove home. But either way, I was like, yeah, you got to watch this. I'm going to ollie over that trash can right there off the jump.
Oh, no.
She's like, you can do that? I'm like, yeah, girl, come on. It's me we're talking about. And I literally like flew around the skate park super fast and just came back around. First try, went up, fell and broke my ankle. Yeah, anyways, so I don't want to do that. So I said, I got to warm up. I was skating the half pipe, super cool. I actually took, we just call him my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
But he's he's my cousin's kid, and I took him to the skate park.
Nice.
That's fun. That was super cool. So yeah.
I like it. That's
Did you
fun.
You started reading my cousin's book,
yes,
right?
I did want to talk about that. Yes, this is awesome. So on the plane, I, had listened to your podcast, and then I read your cousin, Michelle Massaro's, a little bit of her book, and I was very impressed. It's called, wait, I know you know it, Fire, something about
Grace in the Flames.
Okay, I had it totally wrong. Grace in the Flames. If you have Kindle Unlimited, it is free right now. I think that's why I had downloaded it, because I have Kindle Unlimited. And I was super impressed because there's parts of it that are about a widower and the things that he goes through, and just like her insight as an author. That's why I was asking you, like, did she get this from you? No, but it was before you.
Yeah.
Before you were a widower. It was just really awesome. And I'm only on, like, I've read a couple chapters, but I highly recommend. It's a fiction book, but it's so interesting to see it like a fiction character, but she has written it so well that you can tell that she understands the emotions you go through. And so I'm just a few chapters in, but I really, really liked it. I'm going to put a link to it. And again, that's free.
Oh, that's cool.
Kindle Unlimited, if you are part of that. And it's really, really good. So
thank you. Yeah. So it's Michelle Massaro, and it's actually, that's part of a 3-part series.
Oh, nice.
So there's Grace in the Flames, Unbound by Grace, and Grace Greater Still, I think. And so it's like a 3-part
nice
series. And then she has another book also. But yeah, I've heard from everybody who has read. I've never read it because I'm not a big reader, to be honest. But I have given it as gifts to lots of people.
Yeah.
And everybody who's read it has told me that she is just an amazing author. And my mother-in-law really loves the books, and said she's a great author. And so and they're Christian. It's Christian. She writes Christian fiction. I guess that would be the category.
Yes. Right? Okay. I'm looking at some of them are popping up on my Kindle. There's Unbound by Grace, and then she wrote one with somebody. Better Than Fiction, April Gardner and Michelle Massaro. Wait, is that the April? No.
That'd be great. But I think you do. Crazy. You two do have a friend in common.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking, like, through my writing conferences. It's somebody from a writing conference that she knows.
Yes.
So
yes.
That's really cool. Yeah, I want to read. She's got like a whole little bio about Michelle Massaro.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It still says she lives a Southern California native. Oh no, it says Tennessee.
I think she did update it. Yeah.
Now proudly make their home in East Tennessee. She has an amazing cousin named Mark, who's a great skater.
Shut up. It does nothing. You got me so good.
I got you all happy.
Oh, I owe her a phone call. I didn't know she. Oh, that is funny. You got me so good.
Mean. I'm sorry. That was
right on. Well, I should have known. I mean, on her like author bio, she's got a cousin named Mark. It was just awesome.
No. That's pretty funny.
That's so funny. Like, that's just total all ego right there that I actually even believe in.
You're all excited.
That's cool. She thinks I'm awesome.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, that's funny. But yes, I would also recommend, just based off of how many times I've heard. Yeah, she's got quite a few. Better Than Fiction is
Hollow Places. I also have that one. I have not read
that's
it
a new one. Yeah. Yes, that's a newer one.
I bought that
I heard that one's great too.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, anyways. Yeah.
Grace.
I
don't know.
But just to check her out. Michelle Massaro. You can buy her books on Amazon or on Kindle or whatever.
Kindle is Amazon.
Oh, whatever. Is it?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So Kindle, you know what a Kindle is?
Yes, I know what a Kindle
is.
Yeah.
It's from Amazon. So you buy it through Amazon.
Oh.
So yeah, that's how that works.
That's how that works.
That's how that works. Cool. Yeah.
So yeah. And so yeah, that's super cool. I want to write a book.
Well, we're trying. Remember that one we tried? We never got
Yeah,
published?
They were interested in us. They said we need more listeners. So tell your friends about us.
Here's the bad news. She doesn't work for them anymore. So
oh
yeah. So now we don't have a connection. I don't know where
I was all hopeful that we were gonna get, a writing gig someday.
Once we got like 1 million downloads.
You know what though? What a compliment though. Out of how many people that they like interview and stuff that
I don't remember.
They really liked our writing. That's pretty cool.
They did. Yes, I saw, we're friends on Facebook and I saw she left her job, but at least a connection. Maybe she works somewhere else. We can get published once we get 1 million downloads. So share this with your friends.
Yeah. What did she say? She said you need to have 1,000 per episode.
Yeah, I think that's it. No, 1,000,000. I mean, we're at a couple hundred. Yeah, we're getting there.
Few hundred per episode. That's pretty darn good compared to where we started.
It is good.
We started from the bottom. Now we here.
I don't know.
Sorry.
All right, let's wrap it on up. It's been over an hour.
Oh yeah, we were gonna wrap it up like 20
I think they're
minutes
tired
ago.
of us, but guess what? They can always push stop if they don't want to listen to us.
Yeah.
No one's forcing you. Just stop.
Quit getting mad at us.
Yeah, don't have to listen, but we love it when you do. We do. Okay, let's wrap it on up. Would you like to close in prayer?
Yes, I would.
Okay, let's do it.
Lord, I pray that you would give us a little Bing 5. Wait, no, that's not that. Sorry, I couldn't pass that up. Anyways,
too funny.
Lord, I just pray that you would. I thank you so much for this ministry that you've entrusted us with, and as always, I pray for anybody who's in the beginning of this dark walk, that somehow we would be an encouragement to them, a light to them, and we'd have good sound advice for them. We pray for anybody listening who's not widowed, but who is looking for how to act towards their friend or family member that is widowed, and that they would find this to be informative and helpful. And I pray that we don't ever come off abrasive, because some of these topics for us, they are they are sensitive, and so sometimes our feelings can be passed through the advice. And so anyways, I just pray that you would allow us to guide us, Lord. Just guide us and give us the words to say. And we pray all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. If you liked this star, I mean, you would think on episode 54 I'd have it down.
No, I just threw you off.
You did. If you like this,
give it a little John 3:16.
Give it a little Bing, 5 stars, share with people, blah, blah, blah. It helps get the word out. You can email us at, what is it called? widowedtoosoonm@gmail.com, Instagram, all the places, the drill. Or maybe you don't, because you're brand new. But that's the drill.
So find us. Widowed2, number 2.
Number 2, soon.
Because there's 2 of us, not because we don't know how to spell.
That's right. Exactly. It's
TOO.
It's clever. It's very clever. Widowed 2 soon.
Yeah.
Not widowed 1 soon. Widowed 2 soon.
There it is. Because there's 2 of us.
Last week it was just widowed 1 soon when you did it on your own.
Yes. Yes, it was widowed 1 soon.
Anywho, I think that's it.
That's a wrap.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and have a great week. We'll see you guys next time.
God bless.
Bye.